All right. Hello out there, everyone. Welcome to Locked In Disc Golf. Today, I'm going to do an end of the season in the bag. This will also be my bag going into next season. It's November 1st. Just got back from the course. Figured I'd make a little video. Before we get started, just want to say thank you to anyone that takes the time to watch this video. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. And secondly, a little bit about myself. I'm in my 40s, max out at like 400 feet. That's on a good day. Usually it's like 350 to 380 maxing out. I'm a right-hand backhand player. Don't really forehand a whole lot. I can a little bit, maybe up to 250. Definitely not going really past that, as I left my forehand in the 90s, it seems. But yeah, we'll just jump right on in here. Bag I use is a Dynamic Discs Paratrooper bag. It's great storage. You can carry all these big pouches on the side. Each side's got a big pouch. I carry 17 in the main slot, 3 in the middle pouch, my throwing putters, and then 2 main putting putters. I'm curious what you guys bag and how do you keep your discs in the bag? Like me personally, I keep my mids on the far right, and I go right to left. I go up to speed, so 5 speeds on the right, and then it just goes up to my 12 speeds. And I usually have most overstable to understable in each slot. That's just me personally, but I'm curious, how do you guys bag your disc? Is it a certain way you bag them? And what do you guys throw? I'll start out with my putting putters here. I putt with the Dynamic Discs Judge. These are 176 grams, Supreme Judge. These are beaded. It's a great disc, very dependable. Prime Burst. Throwing putters, these are 174 grams. Most overstable, I guess you could say, is my Proton Pilot, which is not super overstable, but it's the most overstable throwing putter I've got. Great upshot disc, good for approaches, and it's just an all-around great disc. Off the tee, up to 220. I try not to throw all my discs at max power unless I have to. I don't really like manipulating my discs too much. There are exceptions for that, of course, but for the most part, I try to just let the disc naturally do what it's supposed to do. Most neutral throwing putter would be my EMAC Judge. It's been beat up. I started playing again like 3 years ago. I've had this in the bag ever since. So if you throw it flat, it will slowly drift to the right just a little bit. So if you hyzer flip this thing, it's an absolute laser beam, and it does just kind of float. It just pushes straight, just floats to the ground like a little UFO. Dynamic Discs Deputy, classic. Yeah, what can I say about this? It's just gonna finish right. It'll push, finish right. My understable throwing putter. It's a great disc. Moving on to the mids. Most stable, we've got a Malta, ESP Malta. I found this at the end of last season. It did not have a name or number on it, so do not judge me for that. I did post on Facebook. Nobody replied, so I tested it out and was like, man, I need that slot in my bag. I didn't have a disc like that. But very dependable. Highly recommend having a disc like this in your bag. It just pushes and it fades left. It doesn't really turn over on you. Great little forehand. I will forehand this sometimes. Anything up to, again, 150 feet if I'm, need to get around something, which is very rare for me to forehand, but if I do, there's definitely not another option. Next would be my Trust, new addition to the bag. Royal Grand Plastic, absolutely amazing. This is 180 grams, but this is like a big brother to the Malta, in my opinion. Just pushes about 50, 60 feet further than the Malta, but just pushes. It's got that nice fade at the end. It's not going to turn over on you. If you need a headwind disc or something like that, Trust would be a great option for that. Next would be my Truth, Lucid Truth, 177 grams. What can I say about this disc? This actually helped me win a tournament down in Circleville a couple years ago. And in my opinion, this disc is actually just a better buzz. I know you're probably thinking that's crazy, but give it a shot. It's an absolute workhorse of a disc. It'll hold any line, but no matter what line you put it on, it will have a little integrity at the end to come back. So if you put on some Anheuser, it'll hold that, and then once it slows down, it fights out at the end. Great disc. I love that disc. Next would be my Warship, Orbit Warship. I got in the players pack. This kind of goes in and out of the bag, but it always finds a way back in. My furthest throwing mid-range. It's again just another workhorse, but this one doesn't have that integrity really at the end. So if you put it on a line, it's just going to hold that line the whole time. And if it does fight out, it hits the ground before it really tries to fight back out. So also great disc. Next would be my Wombat 3, Champion Wombat 3, 180 grams. This is a Champion plastic, of course, everybody knows. It's a little more overstable. I've only had this for like a year, so I'm still beating it in. But absolute, just a fairway. You know, if you need a fairway mid, something that's not going to get too wonky on you, this would be the disc. It can even hold a hyzer, pushing hyzer. You know, slight Anheuser, it's going to hold that. And it's just a very dependable disc. That's what I look for in a disc, is dependability and consistency. Last mid, probably my most underrated disc in the bag, Discraft Archer. It's understable. This is 177 grams. It wants to go right, but it's not just going to burn over on you. And it's like a pushing turn. So if you hyzer flip this thing, it does get a nice turn, pushes really good. You know, you can push this thing comfortably without having to force it. 250, 260, 270, no problem. Just a great disc. One of my fairways, probably what I have the most of, so I use these the most, would be my most used fairway driver, my 7-speed Innova Hawkeye. First run Star Hawkeye. Such a great disc. I know there's many variations of this, but in my opinion, this Hawkeye, they nailed it out of the park with this. Holds any line. Such a great disc. If you need to park a hole 300 to 320 and pretty much guarantee you're going to land within 10-15 feet of the basket in any direction in circle one, this is the disc that will do it. Next would be my 8 speeds. This is like my only utility disc. That would be a Discraft Mantis. Absolute. This is basically a get out of jail free card. Not a tomahawk guy, not really a forehand guy, but if you're ever stuck behind a big tree or you're in jail and you're thinking, how do I get out of here? What do I do? This disc will do it. This is the get out of jail free card. Tomahawk it over a big tree. You could forehand it, backhand it, under the leg. No matter what you need, this is get you back in the fairway, stop the bleeding. That's this disc. Discraft Mantis. Next, TL3, Star TL3. Great disc. Everybody probably knows TL3. Holds any line you put it on. I specifically use this as I throw it flat as I can. It just pushes, laser beam, you know, pushes up to like 300 and then slowly fades. It's got like a pushing calm fade to it, so it just kind of floats out of the sky. Doesn't bite too hard at the end. Next would be actually this is my most overstable 9-speed, my Thunderbird, a G-Star Thunderbird. You're probably thinking G-Star, that's probably flippy. Nope, It's actually not. It's just the right, it's just so perfect. It doesn't turn over, it just pushes. Instead of turning over, it just pushes more. So I use this for if I've got like some big overhang, like 300 feet down the fairway, overhanging off the left, jail on the left side. I need something to go wide right and crash back in. This Thunderbird will get that done. Specifically, hole 11 at Griggs. That big nasty overhang that's in the middle of the fairway that hangs over. This right here, you just put something, you could flip this up or just ride the hyzer the whole way. Thunderbird's going to get it done. Everybody probably knows about the Thunderbird. Next would be my Vandal, Orbit Vandal. Got in a player's pack with a Warship. This one has never came out of the bag because it's too consistent, too dependable. It's an absolute, if you need something that's guaranteed going to stay in the fairway, this is the disc. If you've got jail on the left, jail on the right, and you're like, man, I have to stay in the fairway, this disc will do it. It's just going to push. It might give you a slight 0.5 turn, depending on how much hyzer you throw on it. You go on anhyzer, it will turn for you a little bit more, but for the most part, this thing just wants to push and just fade at the end. So very, very good disc. It's becoming one of my favorite 9-speeds, to be honest, but it's making a name for itself. Making a case for itself. But my favorite 9-speed is my Goldline Saint. This disc has been a workhorse. When I started playing again a few years ago, I entered a trilogy challenge just to kind of jump back in and see what Frisbee golf was all about. And I got this in a player's pack, and it's just been an absolute bomber disc for me. This is more 320 plus, if you're pushing out 350, 360. If you got a little wider of a fairway to work with, this is the disc for you. It's got 7 glide, totally lives up to that 7 glide in my opinion. But shout out to Disc Golf Mart. He was putting these specific runs, the Goldline Trilogy Challenge Saint. He was putting these aside, and I was going and picking them up whenever I could. And so I've got 5 or 6 of these on standby. And naturally, once it gets too beat in and just flips over on me, which probably take another couple years, I would imagine, but it does get a little, that one turn, and then that 2 fade comes back in, and it puts you back on the fairway. But it's pushing, it just pushes and glides forever. Great disc, absolutely love that disc. Last but not least, 9-speed Discraft Heat. Roller disc, big turnover disc. That's what this thing is for. If you put on a slight anhyzer, it's just going to hold that the whole way as it pushes. If you got a bunch of overhang on the right side and you need to go around it, if you don't have a forehand, which I don't really, I'm not pushing 300 plus with a forehand, so something like a Heat, it's definitely going to come in handy, where it just pushes, slowly fades to the right. That disc, it's a getter dunner. Last 4 discs are my big dogs, the drivers. These are definitely 320 plus. If I'm really trying to hit that 400 mark, these are the discs that'll do it. First would be my Grace. I call this the Fire and Ice. Real grand plastic. Also a new addition to the bag. Just a laser beam. This is a low ceiling disc. If you have a low ceiling shot, you don't want it to really turn over on you, but you need something to just push as far as you can get it to go, and then fade left. It's going to probably give you an extra 15 plus feet of skip, which is absolutely a great disc to have. Next would be my Innova Turn, probably one of my all-time favorite distance drivers. People used to say that, or people still say, that Innova's inconsistent with their plastic, and I've never experienced that. All the discs that I've had were older discs. So I feel like the older discs definitely were not like that. They used to make specific runs of their discs, you know, like the Midnight Crew might make a disc that did a little different stuff, but overall they just didn't have inconsistency with their plastic. But I picked this thing up, and this is a Star turn, and it feels like a Champion hybrid or something. It just seems a little more overstable for a turn, which I'm still kind of beating this in. I've had it a little over a year, but it almost seems like the more you play with this, you know, the more you beat it in, it does kind of balance out. So like, I'm really loving it, actually. Turned out when I first got it, I was like, man, it's way too overstable. That's not what I'm looking for. But I gave it a shot, and it seems it's starting to slowly balance out. You're still getting that nice pushing turn out of it, but it does have that integrity at the end, which I'm really loving this disc. Next would be my G-Star turn, which you're probably thinking, that's a G-Star turn. That's probably flippy. Yep, you're absolutely right. It's 100% flippy. What do I say? I mean, it's a turn. It's a G-Star turn. It wants to go right. So I hyzer flip this. If I need to push, again, something that's going to finish 320 plus to the right, this is the disc that will do that. And then we've got the Missy Gannon Z-Flex Jawbreaker Thrasher. Absolute bomber disc, man. Discraft nailed it out of the park with this thing. Such a great disc. And it just feels good in the hand. The rim doesn't really feel like you're throwing a 12-speed. It's just a great disc. Highly recommend for anybody that's throwing 300 to 350 and you need a bomber disc. Get you a Thrasher. Specifically, this Jawbreaker Z-Flex. Yeah. I did pick up the Funky Thrasher when Ben Askren was going through his double lung transplant. I did want to support him in some way, so I ended up picking up a Funky Thrasher. I've yet to put it in a bag. I've thrown some field work with it, but I imagine I will rotate it in once this thing gets too beat up, which I imagine will take a really long time because the consistency with their plastic, and it's just a great disc. Plus, I don't really hit stuff with this thing. This is a disc that you throw if you've got like an open fairway. All these other discs, except for, you know, the turn, it's the exception. Most of these discs are like tighter fairways, more controlled shots. You gotta, you know, be calculated with your shots. This, you can just, if you got an open enough fairway, you can just rip this thing out and just let it do its thing. But that's the bag. Hope, you know, appreciate anybody that stuck around to watch this. I do appreciate it. And I'm curious, what do you guys throw, and how do you keep your discs in your bag? Do you keep them highest speeds on the left to lowest speed? Do you keep it most understable to most overstable? How do you guys keep your discs, and what do you throw? I'm very curious. But thanks for watching. Take care. Hope to see you guys on the fairway.